The top Democratic leader paid a visit to the North Country on Tuesday following the July 4th holiday weekend.
Here either out of Sackets or Henderson or Clayton. I go fishing for smallmouth bass in Lake Ontario, so I'm here a lot. But this is my first time as Majority Leader, so it's good to be here as Majority Leader. And
U.S. Senate Majority Leader Charles Schumer visited the village of Sackets Harbor on Lake Ontario to specifically discuss the ongoing northern border restrictions.
The border is very important. Millions of tourists come here every summer. Many people have homes and friends in Canada who they used to routinely cross the border to visit. Businesses depend on the cross-border activities. So we really depend on this border. About 2 million tourists visit the North Country from Canada every summer. And so it's very important. But unfortunately, it's been closed. Not because so much of the United States, but because of Canada. A lot of these boats here in the North Country are Canadian. A lot of Canadians dock their boats here, come down for the summer. Not only do they stay on their boats, but they'll come here to Sackets Harbor and many of the other towns, particularly on the water in Jefferson County, and eat in the restaurants, shop in the stores, help our local economy. So we need them here. We need them here. There are family members who have relatives in Canada who they haven't seen, grandchildren, for a year and a half. A lot of these boats here in the North Country are Canadian. A lot of Canadians dock their boats here, come down for the summer. Not only do they stay on their boats, but they'll come here to Sackets Harbor and many of the other towns, particularly on the water in Jefferson County, and eat in the restaurants, shop in the stores, help our local economy. So we need them here. We need them here. There are family members who have relatives in Canada who they haven't seen, grandchildren, for a year and a half. We also have this anomalous situation which the Canadians have imposed, whereas if you take out a fishing boat and you cross into Canadian waters with no intention to dock on the Canadian side, you can't do that. Because they're worried, I guess, about COVID, but no one's even intending to go into Canada. Just stay on your boat, fish, maybe you'll cross over the official border, so be it. Here's another anomaly. You can fly from Canada to the United States, but you can't cross the border. What sense does that make? So they got all kinds of crazy rules going on because their politics on this issue is really contorted. But we shouldn't be suffering, and frankly, a lot of the Canadian people shouldn't be suffering.
To address this ongoing closure, earlier in the spring, Senator Schumer previously requested the United States and Canada to form a bilateral agreement, which would allow vaccinated residents from. Schumer continued by stating that he has talked to the United States Director of Homeland Security and the U.S. Secretary of State, both of whom he claimed were on board with his plan. However, Schumer said that he has also talked to the Canadian ambassador, who is not in approval of the plan due to internal conflicts in the country. Noting this disapproval, Senator Schumer announced that he is now prepared to move forward without the Canadian government.
And so I today am declaring that it's time for the United States to take action even without the Canadian government because they have delayed too long. So if a bilateral agreement is not reached by July 21st, that's the day that we asked them to come up with a new agreement, the United States should unilaterally allow vaccinated Canadian citizens with family, property, tourism, education, business interests, medical interests to allow to cross the border. The U.S. must do two things. One, expand the definition of essential travel to extend to vaccinated Canadian citizens with family, property, educational, medical, tourism, or business interest. And two, unilaterally open the northern border to those vaccinated Canadians. And that would allow the millions of people to come. We can now occupy football stadiums and theaters and restaurants for people who are vaccinated. We can certainly develop a plan where people could cross the border.
Non-essential travel between the two countries will continue to be restricted until July 21st, 2021. It has been in force since the beginning of the pandemic of March of 2020. For ABC 50 Now here in Sackets Harbor, I'm Isabella Colello. For more local news, go to informnny.com or download the ABC 50 mobile app.